Now then, people, good evening and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show and the return of everyone's favourite show. It is, of course, the Scouting Report.
Great start.
I know, great start. Hope you're all doing well. Smash me a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit the notification bell. Big up to the two best scouts in the game, Mr. Andrea Russo and Mr. Benjamin Locke. Before we get into it, let's just find out how everyone is.
Benjamin.
Yeah, Lockie, I haven't had you on the channel for a long time. You've been ill, but you've no doubt seen all the transfer stuff that's going round. What's been your thoughts about Leeds United currently? The transfer scenarios.
Yeah. Loving it, mate. Loving it. I was, in it just good to have just quality players in Europe just been linked to your club every day. Most of them are probably not real, but I think the ones that are, I think it shows ambition to me. It shows that we're not really looking at Championship if it goes wrong. We're looking at how can we go up, how can we build upwards, which of course has its risks. But if you want to stay in this league, you've got to sign quality players, right? You've got to bring experience in, but you've got to bring quality as well. And I like the links, the credible ones. I think that shows that the owners are thinking that as well. So I'm loving it, man. It's good to be back in the Prem. Really good to be back.
It is. Some funniness. Helen, what did I say about Brentford? And someone said, oh, if they get Scott Parker, my God, please get Scott Parker. Andrea, how's things?
Good, man. Been working hard for this. We waited a long time, but I think it was the right decision because, I think I think the transfer market is really rumbling up now in the second week of June. So it is the right time for us to return. There'll be many messages in the past, many tries, to do something similar, in football media. So it's good to see that, we started a sort of a trend, in a certain sense. But yeah, it was about the right time now, and I think we'll have fun. I think I have tried a different approach this time. So, Premier League, we need to step up to our game, and I think we will. The ultimate goal, of course, is have fun. Try to guess other right players. We guessed. I think our hit record is Ampadu, Rodon, Farke too, Bogle, and Tanaka, of course. Tanaka, I think Tanaka is the best one because Lucky mentioned him like a year before we signed him. So let's keep going.
We're still waiting on Polyumpano though. He's still
one day. Next year when we're down, he'll be the one.
He's the OG of him and others. The OGs of the scouting reports 2 years ago.
There might be another OG coming back into this one.
Exactly.
There we go.
Let me just spoil anything.
Let me just dive into some comments. We've got Danny Talk Sport, smash a like. He says, Andrew, the same. Jack says, hope the guys come up with some great players. Going to be disappointed when we miss out on Diarra. Philip says, hi, John, everyone. Looking forward to this. Let's see what ballers Lockie and Andrea pick. What else have we got? What you done? Oh, mate, it got copy struck this morning. Someone took control of that music, so I can't use it anymore. So I've got a new intro en route, though. I think Lockie might be in it, actually, because I've used pictures from the the parade, so should be in it. Evening all, return of the scouting report. Yes, big up Oliver. Laura says evening. There we go. Not like Joe to be late. Apologies, folks. I was on the phone. I am sorry. Catching up with the latest from the Jet Washers. Yeah. Jet Washers on holiday. I like all the staff and players at Leeds. Yes, I think that's everything. We're all caught up. Right, boys, we're here. Who wants to answer that first and foremost? Raskin? Nah. Rangers? Nah, not Premier League.
Not for me.
Not Premier League, yeah. Good player for the Championship. Will be a good player for the Championship, but we don't want to go back there. So I think 49ers can keep him up north, in Scotland. Yeah.
100%. Jimmy Glass says, we want Diarra, but give me that left back. Do you too? Blimey. Yeah, he was a good one yesterday.
He was going to be on the left back.
How's international football going for you at the minute, Andrea, just out of interest?
I don't know.
Oh, Joe, we lost
honestly, to be
yesterday.
fair.
I know, yeah, forget. First time we've ever lost to an African team. I do apologise, I forgot, man.
But we lost on, to be fair, against Norway. I was at the stadium against Moldova, very, very poor, But you lost yesterday against Senegal, but we lost the game and face against Norway, because I have never seen such a circus, where the FA sacks the manager announces he's sacking in a press conference. Then the next day he manages the teams knowing that he's been sacked. They contact Ranieri. Ranieri says, "Oh, I'm gonna have the night. I'm gonna take the night to think about it. And gonna answer you in the morning, But the federation leaks it to the press, and the first pages of the papers is Ranieri has said yes. The next morning Ranieri says, "No, I'm gonna stay at Rome." Actually, they ask Pioli. Pioli goes to Fiorentina and says, "No, I'm not coming back to Italy to manage Italy." Sorry. And then now you have between De Rossi, Gattuso, and Cannavaro. It's like,
Wow.
also choosing between maybe Gary Kelly, Lucas Suradebe, or I don't know, Mark Viduka. Basically, Cellino has bankrupted Brescia too, so it's a total circus. They're playing the under-21s. Nonto is playing against Romania now, but of course I'm here, so I'm not watching.
Yeah,
on
you'll
the
only
job.
be missing out on Nonto. It's all good. So, boys, you tend to lead the show. We decided, or came together, and you two decided we were going to go with number 8, I believe. It's a position that's where we're going to start. Number 8. It's a position that Leeds United are looking at currently. Obviously, Diarra's been linked. Sean Longstaff's been linked as well in the past 24 hours by The Athletic. Before we get into your picks, what do you make to them two as options? I'll start with you, Andrea. Diarra and Longstaff, are they the kind of players we need to be going for?
Yeah, absolutely. Two different players, two different profiles. Of course, you've seen Diarra yesterday. I think he's very good, and it didn't help us, to be fair, if we're in for him the game that he played, because he was very good. To be fair, so it doesn't help us slightly, in our pursuit for him, But even Longstaff, he's a player that. He's not like universally because it doesn't do anything outstanding, but he's a useful player. He's a player that is useful in the build-up. He's physical, tall, not physical in that specific sense in terms of strength, like Biol, for example, but tall, navigates well with the ball, moves well without the ball, and he has a lot of experience from the Premier League. I think as a newly promoted team, we cannot afford, to say, if we're offered a player like him who had good seasons, at Newcastle, to say no, to be fair, because he's shown that he can boss the midfield, he can do well, if not boss the midfield in the Premier League. So absolutely, you get a Premier League player if that happens, that has proven that he can play there in the last few seasons. So absolutely pro. With those two signings,
seasons, 7 consecutive seasons in the Premier League.
Exactly, because of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, it's huge, and obviously Champions League experience as well now. Lockie, any thoughts on them too? I know you were over the moon when Diarra was linked. The chat rightly told me, they were like, Lockie was speaking about this guy.
Yeah, he's quality. He's Diarra, really good player. I am on the side of probably too good for us at this point. I think someone will come in. Hopefully not. Hopefully we get him. But I don't see it. He's an excellent player, like Andrea said. He's a box-to-box, aggressive, powerful kind of driver with the ball. As you watched him yesterday, Joe, moves well, good defensively. Very solid player, can do a lot of things. Likes to go out wide, create combinations. Is what we're missing, and that's some of the names in this video as well. And Longstaff is, like you said, 7 consecutive seasons. There were a time as well where we're a big player at Newcastle. When they were getting up there as well, not when they were when they were getting up there. Was he now 27? I think.
Yeah, he's getting on.
Yeah, still.
Now. I've actually got him here. 27.
Experience. I'd argue that people might disagree. I'd argue be our best midfielder. I would. Look, you could argue Tanaka might be better, Ampadu might be better, but he's proven it. They aren't. So what a coup that would be for me personally. I think it'd be excellent.
That's
And
the point I was making earlier on. Someone said, sorry, Andre. Someone said,
no worry.
he's not better than what we've got. And I went, well, how can you say that when he's had 7 consecutive seasons in the Premier League and the players that we have not? You know, they've played in the leagues below. So there's a reason why. But I just think it's because it's not a flashy name, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say what you just said, Joe. You know, it's not that if we're saying, "Oh, there will be a good signing," doesn't mean get Tanaka out. You know, also Tanaka, it means strengthen the squad and have different options. You know, I think it was. It's not necessary to underline that, but I already seen some comments. You know, saying, but we already have Tanaka. Yeah, but we need other players, you know, because it's a tough league and you need absolutely squad depth and different options for different games, you know.
100%. Right, boys, then they're the 2 midfielders that we've looked at. Should we get straight into your picks? Andrea, your screen's ready to go. You starting us off?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I said, Joe, I wanted to try a different approach, and because of all the love that we had, you know, in the last few seasons, and we talk a lot about the extended list. So this season, I decided let's unveil the extended list. You know, I love my 3 picks, but first and foremost, you know, I assembled a number of players apart from those 3 that I think will be viable for the number 8 position. So I'm not going to talk, of course, about all of them. Just going to mention a few. You, of course, can go back, screenshot this. You know, I'm going to post this on Twitter too later on, you know. But, for example, Simon Som from Parma, physical. I think we need to get a number 8 that can, you know, play box to box, like we said, you know, that can either be, you know, physical or a player that is less physical but very movable and versatile, like Ebisher from Bologna, you know. Also, playmaking, like Nico Saival at RB Leipzig or Rocco Reitz, you know. Then there's also other names. And even this one, Lucas D'Acunha for Como, very difficult to get him, to be fair, but absolutely baller, can play on the wing too, can play attacking midfield too.
Is De Boer a relation of Frank?
No. He's not rated, but it's like I put him in there, you know, because of course not for choice, but if you need to have like 3rd or 4th, you know, try to get even more players as options, think he could be viable. He's very, very underrated. He plays in the 3rd tier in Italy, but it's madness because it's not a third tier player, you know. Richardson too, but if we go to the next one, you know, Svanberg, not Ellis Platten, by the way. Look at him. He looks exactly like Ellis Platten. But it's not him, you know. There's also Eggestein at Freiburg, Manzambi, many good players, you know. Vranks, very physical. Yander, very underrated, plays in the second Zweite Bundesliga, 2nd tier at Nuremberg, you know. Fitz-Jim at Ajax.
Wow.
I think, good player, because also he won't be that much expensive for me, you know. Then you have players like in Austria, Kjærgaard. He's been injured for the first part of the season, but now he's coming back, you know. Chukwuemeka, very underrated. He's been linked to a number of clubs in Germany, also in England, I think. Wolves, for example, you know. Sadiki, Gigovic, you know, there's many players that you may not know the names, but they played in Bundesliga, they played in many valuable leagues, you know, like Kraus, for example. He started the season at Luton, he had very good numbers, then he decided to move back to the Bundesliga because Luton was not going well, you know. Then you have other players like Sorensen, very underrated, you know, Moriba, Beltran, So, Arambari. There's many good players, you know, in La Liga. Paul Lozano, Terrazzi, you know, there's also, I put Van de Beek because I think, you know, his career has went downwards, so maybe he wants to relaunch it, you know, going to a club back to the Premier League where he can play week in and week out, and with not the expectation, because he's failed, you know, recently at Man United, Everton, Girona, so you know, in a certain sense, you know, 50-50. Also Jordan James at Rennes, you know, Boudaoui, very good player at Nice. Arthur Avom at Lorient, got promoted, very underrated player, you know. Douglas Augusto, 28, I think, but very experienced. Cornet played at Watford. Then you have the English ones, you know, like Rudoni in the Championship. CD Peck, I think, is a good player. I know people may disagree. Victor Top has been injured, but very good numbers. I remember him last season against Man United. He's a player that I think suits the Premier League. Doucouré, free agent. Then you have other players like Smallbone. I think he can easily play in the Premier League. These players, you know, Kamara of Brest, you know, these long stuff too, Then the final ones, there's like Avi Guerra, Benato Rientes. I put him there, these two, because they've been linked in the past with the top La Liga clubs, but these links have gone, I see Turrientes link with Celta Vigo. I think we can challenge. If he goes to Celta Vigo, honestly, I think we can be in there easily too, So screenshot this. It was like a sneak peek, into all the extended list, and we had to pick 3 out of these 3,
Yeah.
So my first pick in the 2025 Just Joe Football Show draft is Noah Sadiki. Who is Noah Sadiki? Noah Sadiki is a number 8, of course.
This is brilliant, by the way. These graphics, mate. I can't lie to you.
Made them myself. Also the background. I tried to do like an inspired Lloyd Fields tunnel. Sense, then all the other things, put them together. Not a pro, but I'd like to improve, to learn. In a certain sense. So my first pick is not Sadiki. Now, Sadiki plays at Saint-Gilloise. They have won the league in Belgium this season. He has played in the Europa League. He has played like against Ajax. You see there 10 games. They got knocked out by Ajax in the first knockout round. They had a great season, very underrated team. They had a number of players that may return later on in the other scouting reports. Very attacking football. We're talking about a player that is 5 feet 8 inches. You see, after 2 years, I finally learned.
I was gonna say, mate, you've done it in feet. It's funny because the person who does my graphics is French, and I was on a call with him earlier on, and he did the whole so many meters, and I was like, I don't even know what that means, Sasha.
Yeah, that's the meters, about like 1.73 meters, that's the European measurement, in terms of weight. And then you have 77 kilograms, 10 million in the transfer value. I think it's reasonable, maybe up to 15 if you want, if they ask more, but it's been linked to a number of French clubs and a German club, all top tier clubs, especially Lyon, but they have, financial problems. They were provisionally relegated to League 2 last autumn, then they resolved it, and now they are able to stay in League 1, Ligue 1, sorry, not League 1. And Wolfsburg, in the Bundesliga, but I think we can be there. We can challenge with the Premier League. He's played 55 games. He's just had one transfer. He's born in Belgium, but plays for DR Congo, former colony of Belgium, So he decided, because of his parents, to play for DR Congo. Moved from Anderlecht, grew up there to Union Saint-Gilloise in 2023. These are the stats. You can go back there, and read it if you want. In the next slides, I underline this specific thing, another round number 8. You have 55 games played, 53 games started, only
that's a lot
2
of
times
games in a season. That
exactly, that's a lot of games, because they play like the European qualifiers, then they have the split league, and they play like the championship phase, the European phase, and the relegation phase, in Belgium. Only 1 game missed due to injury, only 1 out of 55, and that's mental, to be fair. 49 games as a center midfielder and 3 games as a defensive midfielder, number 6. You can see the stats from FBref here. Pass completion 74%. This one is massive in the Premier League. So important, this stat. Progressive carries 86%. Absolutely, and I think Loki will go to players that have that stat. That stat. Very similar. Yeah. And also progressive passes recoveries, 93. Nice. He's a player that is able to defend, and we'll see that in the next few slides, but also attack. Very box to box. The type of football he plays is more physical, but he's like a player off the ball, similar to Kante in a certain sense, He's a player that covers a lot of the pitch. Less faster than Kante, because he's stronger and larger, in terms of weight. Mm-hmm. He's more physical. But that is the type of football he plays, Even with the, similar movement to get the ball to the wide, in that regard, In the next one, I've underlined a few, situations I've seen, when I was watching him. Sorry?
Can you zoom in on that?
Yeah, I can try.
So we can just bring it.
I don't know if you can use it because I use this app, to maybe I can do like this. Works.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay.
A bit more.
More again.
Other
Yeah,
way.
more. Other way. You're going back. Keep going.
That's the final one. Because I use this app because I said if I enlarge them too much, they lose quality.
Okay.
It's all right now. You can see it or
Go.
50-50.
Can you? There was one closer than that.
Okay, let's try again. Say stop.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That's getting smaller, isn't it? Or is it me?
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's
Like,
getting bigger. That's getting bigger.
Keep going. Yeah, I can see. Yeah. Should we leave it like that? Everyone's saying it's okay in the chat. Maybe it's just me.
Okay. It's if it's not my problem. If you want to voice your your concerns, tweet or go.
To be fair, mate, I've just put it on the
app.
I've just put it on the big screen on my computer and I can see it perfectly. So it's probably because I had a small screen. Apologies. Go ahead.
No. All right. That's fine. So to finish off with Sadiki, so Loki can start with this first one. I put just few situations. Unfortunately, we cannot show highlights as you know because of the T rights and all that stuff. Blah blah blah. You have this situation, tracking back, covering center run-ins from the center midfielders or wingers. You see that usually covers that area of the pitch. Either on the right or on the left, but he drops back when the opposition is in possession. And here he is, dropping near the defensive line, so he can block the initiative if the ball gets to one of these two, the winger and the other center mid, so he can be in the 1v1 situations, and that's very important because you cover and you drop back, helping the defense, and if you recover the ball, he has the pace to run and lead the counter attack. Here to another situation, he follows back because they have lost the ball. The ball is on the left. There's a lot of space here where this player and this player, because this player here has the 1v1 situation, this player can drop here. He's dropping back to cover this area. The area I have highlighted here, So again, defensive awareness. And here too, you see, drops back again. The center mid or the attacking midfielder from the opposition underlegt goes to the right, passes one player, and he's there to block the player and recover and start the counter-attack. So it's a player that is very present with tackles and defensive awareness, The final one on the defensive end is the build-up, They are stuck here with the ball. This player has just one option, the center-back. So Sadiki is going back. You can see him here edging towards the ball. He can go here to pick up the ball. He also drops in other situation that, I just put forward, but there's many others, just also drops in midfield in defense like Gruev did, like Ampel did in the championship, to lead the counter-attack, to lead the build-up from the back when they are stuck with the ball, the center-backs, And if he goes there, see, there's this player here. He can pass the ball one touch here to create the advantage and bypass this one, the first line of pressing, So these were the defensive situation, of course. I'm talking faster because we want to get this going, but if you can go back, of course, and see it again, The attacking situations, again, he does the same on the opposite side, Makes the central run, stretches the team, creates depth because you have the striker and this one challenging, Sadiki challenging the center back. So he's a passing option, The ball is here. He can drop here and get the ball and pass the ball again. Or, of course, he can make the run like he does in the next slide, Here. It's the slide before this one, He can make the run. He can be a passing option here, can drop back, of course, can move here. He's very movable, He's never static. He moves all around on the pitch and the offensive side, So he's a player that is a passing option, but also can make the run, when he sees a free space ahead of him in order to create the numerical advantage, And here too, we see the ball carrying, Here he picks up the ball on the left. Ball carries the ball. He has two players following him, He has a passing option on the left. The 1v1 here. And if he goes with the 1v1, of course, he frees space because this one will step up. Free space for the through ball for this one, for the striker. If not, he can pass the ball directly to the striker or pass the ball to this midfielder, you know. So you see that he's a player that creates the space for teammates, you know. And if to the final one, you have him standing with the ball on the right. So they have the opportunity to get the ball, a through ball here. He stands on the outside. So if they lose the ball, he's the player balancing the team, you know, because he covers. Because the ball, of course, they will either launch with the long ball, the opposition here, Genk in this case, or get the ball to the midfielder and he's there ready, you know. Otherwise, on the attacking side, he can, of course, make the center run, you know, the center run in, you know, to participate and take part inside the area, you know. Final one, how they play with a 3-4-1-2. He's like the number 8, can also be the number 6 in possession in terms of playmaking. But of course, you see that the heat map for the game against Anderlecht, the one that we've seen in the slides, you know, he shows him moving all around to get the ball on the right, especially when they struggle, you know, in the build-up, but also moving a lot, you know, in the final third to be the advanced playmaker or the ball recovery player that they need, you know. And this was the first one, you know. Noah Sadiki, you know, San-Gilloise.
Great stuff,
Nice.
mate. Absolutely unreal. Quality stuff, mate. Thank you very much for taking the time to put that together as well. It's brilliant, mate. Great analysis. So thank you for that. Lockie, you're up next with your first pick.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So yeah, there is a Diouf. It's not the one that people were asking for in the chat, but there is one. Yeah, Andy Diouf is this guy. Andy Diouf plays for Lens in France. Obviously, the team that Will still left. Yeah, we'll get into it. So he's 22 years old. Plays for Lens, as I said. I've actually done it the European way. I just realised there. What's that in things, Andrea? You'll be able to tell me now. What's 1.87?
No, and Andy Diouf. All right. And European. Oh, this is wait 6'3", maybe.
Around.
I'm going to tell you now.
Below.
It is
6'2",
6'1".
6'1". Okay.
So
yeah, he's 6'1" or 1.78.
Oh, fuck no.
He's not 6'4". He's definitely not 6'4". I don't think.
No, 6.1.52. 6.1.
There you go. Above 6 foot. So he's a big guy, left-footed as well. Played 34 times last year in the league. I think he played, I ain't got it on here, but he played a few times in the Conference League as well for Lens. So he's, again, a big sample size, played a lot, not rarely injured, played a lot of football last year, which is very good. Can play the 8 or the 6. I prefer him as an 8 because that's where his traits are best, in my opinion. And that's what we're going to analyse him as today. Like a teacher at the end. That's what we're going to today.
Yeah, I love that. That's what we're going to do today. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So I wanted to get, when you say box to box, with a bit of progression, look at that heat map of the last 2 years, and that's a box-to-box player that likes to get forward. It's very, very even, but as you can see, it heavies a bit to the attacking side of it, and that is down to his progression, and he is an absolute killer in terms of ball progression, driving with it. Absolute beast when he gets going, and I'll get some stuff showing that. But you can see as well from this one from here just how kind of central he is, but also quite high up he plays as well, in comparison to the other midfielders in the team. Always in kind of the final third pushing, and that's something that we need. The idea behind Diouf was, with losing Rothwell, who can directly replace what we need with a bit more quality and a bit more ceiling and a bit more power, in my opinion. And I think Diouf is that player perfectly, to be honest. I think they're very similar in certain senses, but he's just a lot bigger and he can drive past people. Whereas Rothwell was more driving into space. This guy can drive past people as well. And I'll get into some little clips here. And one thing I really love about him is how he uses his body. He's very good at manipulating defenders to beat them. And in this situation here, what he does is, he's obviously got his back to goal. He's seen that defender behind him. And he just opens his body up, which makes the defender not know which way he's going to go, whether that's inside or outside. And he's really good at this. It's something he's really good at. And there's one later where he receives it really deep and he does something similar. And he just opens his body up and he just does enough to beat the defender and leave him. Now, and again, like I said at the top, this allows him to dictate that situation. I think in the Prem, 1v1 is so important and we need players that can dictate 1v1 situations. And with his power and the way he uses his body, I think he'd be perfect for us in transition to do that. And again, another thing I like about him, little detail here, the way he uses his arms when he's dribbling. I think it's an underrated thing. Rutter was really good at it. He was really good. And even, you know, you can see from his body shape there, that's what Rutter used to do. You know, when he'd get in front, he'd use his arm. So he knows exactly where that defender is. So he can either use that as leverage to push off him or to win a foul, leverage, whatever the word is.
Like a basketball move, you know, Loki's like a basketball move.
Yeah,
You're going to take position, you know, in the post, you know, in a certain sense.
And that's a weakness for me in Aronson, where he doesn't use his arm or his body between the ball and defender. So they always get in front sometimes. Whereas Diouf, when he's in front of you, you're not catching him. He's honestly unstoppable when he gets going. He's really quick. So this is what I mean. He uses that arm, and you can see there how up straight he is, how ready he is. And there, half a second later, there's a gap. And that's where he's gone. That's where he's in trouble, because he's creating that space between the defender. He's really good at that. And then drives into the box. This is the same move. Looks for space. Very direct with his forward passing. Because of that, can lose possession because he's very straightforward with it. But we need that a little bit. We need a bit of progression with losing Rothwell. And then a thing I really liked, continues his run into the box. Once he's past that, he doesn't stop and admire it. He drives into that box. Can I get beyond the defender? Now, the striker doesn't give it to him, but it's the process that we might need just to create that overload in the Premier League. That's one situation. And the second situation is how he progresses from deep. And again, we're going to be deep a lot this year in certain games. We need to accept that. It's how do we get that ball from deep to our goal quickly? We're going to need it. Now, one way is obviously to clear it to a target man, but that target man's not always going to be available. He might be outnumbered. He might be defending as well. This is where you need a progressive midfielder, and we don't have that. We have good midfielders, but none of them are getting that ball from deep and driving up the pitch, are they? Let's be honest. He's always looking to attack space, and as you see here, it's a 50-50, but he's anticipating that, right, if my team wins this, I'm in. I'm going to attack that space, and his team does win it. And he receives the ball on the edge, and again, he uses his body really well. Now, this is a little thing I like to talk about. His body's closed at this point, which means this defender is looking at him going, right, you're not going to drive with it. Your body's closed. He's anticipating that he's just going to get there. One step later, receives on his left, so receives on the inside. So that defender now is locked in. Closed body, received on his left. That defender's going, right, I'm going to get that from you. And in the way in which he switches from this to this, now he's in control. That said there, opens up his body, turns around, looks at the defender, goes from the inside of the pitch to the outside. You see what I mean? Like from this position here to one turn.
Going through it, Lockie, all I'm doing in my head is going, I'm that defender in Creator Cup. Who just goes running past. Shit, he's dodging.
No, Joe, it's not like that, because you will do a slight tackle probably.
Yeah, you'll take him out. Yeah. You won't let him pass you, Joe. You won't let him pass. Yeah.
I'm taking legs.
But the defender don't do that, which he should have done, correct. But so the way in which he uses his body here, that closed body shape, the defender's going, right, I'm going to get you. And he goes, no, you're not. And he's done him. And between, that's 2 touches, by the way, he does this. From this to this situation in 2 touches, in a high-risk area. But in a situation where, let's be honest, he had to do that. If he loses the ball there, they've got the numbers up of the opposition, which is Montpellier. And he beats the man. I mean, look at the defender. He's beat him. The defender, at this point here, the defender thought he had him. He's like, yeah, I've got you here. Closed body shape. I'm going to take you out. He went, no, you're not. Where you going? But what's most impressive now is how much space he gets between himself and everyone else. This is what I love about him. So from this, look at how close everyone is. Look at the defender, by the way. He's done. He's finished him. One step.
You know what? Lucky who is reminding me of, of course, I've seen him too, but I don't know if you agree with this. Of course, I'm not talking about him in the current form, but in his good years, Musa Sissoko, in a certain sense. May be definitely a good,
Yeah. That powerful drive off the mark to create space, strong body. Yeah, 100%. Great thing comparison, to be fair. Yeah, and it's just from here, it's it's the way in which he just power drives forward. And from this touch to this touch is one ball touch, by the way. He just sees that space, hits it in and drives. And then look at this. Just look how much he's left these guys for dead. Look at this guy. He's given up. He's completely given up. And he's on their back line. From the dangerous situation here to, in 3 touches, by the way, here. We need a bit of that. We don't have that at all. And then, yeah, look, he's on the back line.
Sorry, you know what situation I'm thinking of in that moment? And I know it's a lot deeper, but when Aronson played that pass back.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And then they scored it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that's a lot deeper.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Still, we don't have that midfielder who's willing to take it and drive it out.
Drive. We don't, mate. And we had it a bit in Rothwell, but even he wouldn't have done this. You know, we need that big, powerful midfielder. And look, for me, I'll be honest, whether he's a starter, I'm not sure. I think there's parts of his game that he can improve. But in this situation, we're up against it and we need to beat on transition. It's perfect. I mean, just the way he's galloped up that pitch is really impressive to me, and finds the right pass as well. The striker messes it up. But yeah, just something really impressive in his main stats. And again, we're looking at these things like defensively, he does need to improve. You know, he's not that reactive defensively, he needs to improve in that 100%. And again, the passes, he takes a lot of risky passes, as you can see. But these are the numbers I'm looking at.
Yeah, one like that. Absolutely.
That's it. We have control. We have Ampadu. We have Tanaka. Their passing accuracy is a joke. Yeah, a little bit of that when he drives, 100%. But look at them progressive carries. By the way, Rothwell had 1.6, I believe. He's got double it. He's got 3.2 per 90. Successful take-ons for a midfielder, 1.7, top percents. So, and again, just look at them down here. Ridiculous carry numbers. Take-on attempted, successful take-ons. This is what we're missing in midfield for me. Even passes, look, progressive passes is up there. Pure progression. Has a lot to develop in his game. He does. But at 22 years old and the way he is, I just think he'd be perfect for us right now, to be fair. And that's it.
That's brilliant. Another great shout. Two great shouts to start us off. I'll take that off. Yeah, that was... Matt says I'm rock hard looking at that profile. It's not after the watershed yet, mate. You've got another 15 minutes yet, Matt. Yeah, very good. Very good. Andrea, back to you, my man. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, just before we do as well, actually.
Yeah.
Andrea, when you came on the show the other day, I do want to shout someone out because you said I'm picking a player from Belgium, and someone got it in the chat, didn't they? Do you remember?
Exactly. Yeah, in the comments, yeah. I put a like on that, like say silent approval, because I didn't want to do the spoiler, but I was saying with a like, mate, you got it right now. So yeah. Sadiki was that player, So my second choice is Patrick Osterhage. Osterhage, sorry, German is not my best shout, never studied it. So I think he's Osterhage, to be fair. But we will ask Farke if he signs, in the future.
Yeah.
So basically, we're talking about a more experienced player because Sadiki is 20, Osterhage is 25, 6'1", so a taller player compared to him, 75 kilograms, slimmer than Sadiki. Different profile, different profile because we're talking about a player that has the same value in right now as moved last season from after coming through Borussia Dortmund, has moved to Bochum in the Bundesliga and moved last season to Freiburg. They had a great season, qualified for European competitions too. And he's a player that is very, very, balancing. Like I said, I put in the title, in his first season, 33 games with Freiburg, completely different aspirations compared to Bochum, Bochum, their goal was safety, avoid relegation. And now at Freiburg, the goal is get into the European competitions. And they have a lot of good midfielders, at Freiburg. And he went straight into the starting 11, Player very, very good with his technique, absolutely. A player that can play either in the 6 and the 8 because it's very, and we'll see that later in the next slides, the fact that, Freiburg play with a setup similar to Leeds. And when I mean similar, like we played in a number of games with the Tanaka and Rothwell when Ampadu was injured, They're playing that similar way because they have Osterhage and Agestein. And these two players are similar, so they can interchange like Tanaka and Rothwell did, in that in that regard. So first season is completely different profile to compared to Sadiki. You know, 33 games played, 30 as a start. Like I said, only 3 games as a sub. Missed 2 games due to injury. Fun fact: one of these 2 injuries was that he had a cold on 1 game, so he was not fit enough, you know, to play in that one. Physical problem, you know.
Can't have that, Andrea. We can't have a player that don't play because of a cold. Come on.
Yeah, and it was the final game of the season, you know. I went to check a reason of injury, cold, in May. So I said, must be very, very, very cold, you know. In maybe he had like me, you know, pollen allergy or plants allergy, you know. It can be, you know, it's very, very difficult, you know, to breathe in that period, in a certain sense. But yeah, 24 games as a center mid, 7 as a DM, 1 as an attacking midfielder, and 1 as a left midfielder, you know. So we're talking about, like we see in the heat map, you know, a player that tends to drift many times on the left. Like Sadiki has the similarity that he occupies well, reads well the game well, even better than Sadiki in a certain sense, you know, because we're talking about a player that is slimmer, but in terms of vision, in terms of how he reads the game, where he needs to be, is more ready, you know, is readier than Sadiki in that kind of sense. In terms of potential, that Sadiki is much higher than Osterhage, you know, but you can see it drifts a lot towards the left. You can see that pass completion 47% and progressive passes recovery, again, one of the 2 crucial stats, you know, 55. We're talking about the Bundesliga here, so little bit different, you know, to the Belgian league. But yeah, player more, you know, balanced, like I said. You know, you see that the percentages are very similar between attacking phase and defensive phase. So, like I said, the player that can get forward, help the build up, sprint, but also help, you know, in the defensive end, and we'll see that right now, you know. But the key word for him is balance. Player that can start the build up from the back, can help and recover the ball from the back, but also, you know, help like you know, in terms of passing options in the final turn, and that's what we need. Similarity with the players that we mentioned before, Sadiki, you know. So the situation here, I hope you can see all these, you know, in good quality. I placed the first one, you know. There's these are the defensive ones in a certain sense, you know. They're playing against Hoffenheim. They won 3-2 in the first one here, you know. You have Hoffenheim with the ball in the final third, you know, and he's there, you know. He's the first midfielder out of the line. You see the other midfielders have dropped back, you know. You have all the defenders here. They drop back. They are playing the defensive phase. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back 5. Then you have the two wing backs, you know, going forward when they recover the ball in the back 3. In a certain sense, in this specific game, he goes there, you know, and he blocks, because he can block the pass directly here. Of course, they can pass the ball here. They can pass the ball here, but wider, you know, than directly to this player here, you know, because he's there, you know. So he blocks the initiative, the way to the goal, you know, to this player. If he recovers the ball, he can sprint. He can lead the counter attack, of course. Then you have another one tracking back, reading the situation, like I said, you know. Ball lost against Bayer Leverkusen. You have also Wirtz in this specific case. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders again, you know. Of course, the ball is going to the left. So the right back will need to step up to cover and play the 1v1 against this player here, you know. So there will be space, and they will need to, you know, switch. So number 2 will need to mark the player that was covered by number 1, and so on, you know. You can see that there's another player on the right wing going directly to the space. He can run in behind. Osterhage goes back from the, you know, from the central area, from the midfield, sees the danger, goes here and forms, helps the back line. So you can see here a player that reads the situations of the ball very well, in my point of view. Yeah, sorry for the color, but, you know, it was in the sun, so I needed to highlight him and to use red, unfortunately. Sometimes happens in life, you know, in certain nights, you know. But again,
all mine are red, Andre. All my analysis clips are got red circles, so don't worry about that, mate.
But you've been hacked, you know. You've been hacked, but while you were doing it, it's better to say it like that, you know? But yeah, I had to use red in this situation, you know. So again, here, you know, you see the ball is on the right. They can play a through ball. Of course, you have a player coming through here. there's all the defenders are going towards the goal. There's space here, for this one to run. He can pass the ball directly into the middle, like they do many, many times these days, Or you can see the other striker here, Adeyemi, in this case, taking the tempo out of his marker and, pushing him or staying back instead of going towards the goal and going into the space. You can see Osterhage is coming back directly to block this passing opportunity or following this marker where he goes, in order to have all the players marked, The final one too, same here. They have lost the 1v1 here, the defender. It's a 1v1 situation. Of course, you have another player trying to get into here, but also it's a 1v1 and he helps to cover this. So it's a 2v1 in this case because he's dropping back, again, covering an open space. That in the offensive end, like we see with Sadiki, they recover the ball, he follows up the play, makes a center run from midfield, takes the tempo out of his marker, 2v1 here. He can either make the run and get the ball. If he gets the ball from the striker, he can shoot on goal. Or otherwise, he can, pass the ball through because he has dragged this player. And then you have the 2v1 here because this player will have arrived here. You have the 2v1, he can continue to play the ball one touch maybe to this player. So he can create, with the run that he made, an advantage opportunity in both cases, here and here, with the overlapping player. And here too, they were attacking against Hoffenheim. The ball got cleared. He's there. His positioning makes him recover the ball ahead of the two Hoffenheim players, And when he stops the ball, he has the opportunity to pass the ball to the right winger. He can stop the ball, make a run, try to shot on goal, or pass the ball directly to the other midfielder. Or he can pass the ball, try to make the 2v1 here, to the left back, So you can see that he recovers the clearance and straight back to attack, because of his good positioning. Like I said, again, roams a lot on the wings, when he sees space. Here he make the run, got served, went to the left wing, 1v1. He can pass the ball in the middle. He can cross the ball when because they have a player attacking the near post and a player, because this defender will cover, try to catch up with the striker here attacking the near post. He can make a long ball to the far post to this player. So you can see that he's like an advanced playmaker where he has the ball in the final third, And here too, like I said, he can interchange with Eggestein, number 6 and number 8, alternating with the 6, passing option, roaming, and they alternate. Sometimes Eggestein goes back to get the ball, and sometimes Osterhage goes back to get the ball and help in the build-up. When one goes towards the ball to get the ball, the other one makes the run and attacks the free spaces, in order to stretch the team and get verticality and depth, when they are in possession, like Tanaka and Rothwell used to do when they were playing together, So final one, like I said, 4-2-3-1, similar formation to Leeds, where they have like the two midfielders, the number 10, very, very good. He was on the list earlier too. Manzambi plays also in the as a center mid in many occasions, and you can see even Osterhage far less than Sadiki in the attacking phase, but you can see that. In this case, you see that in the defensive phase, he helped, but a lot too in the offensive phase. In the final third, especially not much on the wings in this specific game against Hoffenheim. We've seen that specific slide here, this one, but you see that he covers a lot, helping with the position to switch the team from defensive to attacking phase. This one was Patrick Osterhage from Freiburg. Yeah,
very nice,
great stuff, mate. Again, thank you so much, man. Loads of work goes into this, folks. So make sure you show the love, smash a like on the video. Yeah. Lockie, number 2 for you, brother. And folk, we'll do a poll at the end. Who's your pick? So we've had Osterhage, we've had Diouf, and we have had, let me get it, I remember Sadiki.
Sadiki, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I have to apologise for this one because my camera stopped working, so I don't actually have any like clips of him doing it. But I've got some stats from what I did at uni when I had Y Scout, so there's a bit of detail with this one. And he's an OG. He's an OG. You may remember, you may not, Joe.
I remember the name. I remember.
You remember the name? Yeah.
He was at Hogwarts years ago. You know, he founded the house through there. You know, Salazar is Slytherin.
Rodrigo Zalazar. I mean, for a start, what a name! Imagine that on the back of a Leeds shirt, and that's it. No, I'm joking. He plays for Braga now. When we did it, he was at Schalke. Played for Schalke. Had a very good season in Bundesliga too, or Zweite Bundesliga if you're going to not be Yorkshire. But he's had 2 years in Portugal now, and each year he's been outstanding. My worry for him originally was that little step up, but he just looks a much better player. He's progressed his game in the last 2 years. He plays different roles as well. And we'll just go into his quick stats this season. He has had a little bit of injury problem this season. Last year he didn't. He played like 30-odd games last year. This year he did have a few injury problems. But it's not a constant thing in his career, so I won't be worried about that. Yeah, Uruguay as well. Made his debut under Bielsa. I think he got a goal and assist, or he scored 2 in the one game he played under Bielsa, I believe. Yeah. 2. And then he never got called up again, which is the most Bielsa thing you'll ever see. Yeah, you scored 2, but I'm not getting called up again. But Uruguay international under Bielsa, right-footed. Can play 10 as well, which is something. But I prefer him as an 8 for Leeds. I just think it works better in the Premier League. And we need some South Americans in our team, don't we? Let's be honest. When was the last time we had a very good South American? Rafinha won it. And he worked too bad. Do you know what I mean? So, and he's proper. He's got that South American grit to him. He's a really good player. Now, again, you can see from the heat map, this is the 2 years he's been in Portugal, just how versatile he is, the different type of role he can play. He can be a build-up player in wide areas, or he can be more of a box-to-box, slower tempo. And again, this shows in his heat maps of 3 games I picked from random this season. Very high up, very advanced player, but also one that can drift out wide and create combinations as well. So that's something that interested me. Now, I'm going to show you, just 1 second, I'm going to get the other document up, which has all his advanced stats on. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Because again, my Canva broke, so I didn't get 2 clips.
It's so strange, Joe, that we have the eye of Andy Diouf, popping up between me and Locke,
So I did this for university the other year, where I did a portfolio of players that Leeds could sign, assuming we got promoted the season before last, which we didn't. But it still stands for this guy. So all these stats are from the year before. But again, like I said, very similar year this year to last year. Very, very similar. And it's quite small. I can actually zoom in, I believe. Yeah. So these are obviously you see from the heat map. And you could just see from midfield last year, just everything is just very good. A very, very well-rounded midfielder. And if we go into his stats here, and I'll read them out, no one has to read them, don't worry. And this is really impressive. And I did this by a search on Scout, a data search from a university assignment. And he came up at the top of one of the searches. So obviously watched him and then this is the guy. So smart passes per 90, 64%, which is first in Portugal and 9th in the top EU5 leagues. So I compared him to the top EU5 leagues and became 9th for smart passes. Progressive passes per 90 at 90.15 per season, or 8.91 per 90, which is 3rd in the top 5 leagues in Europe for progressive passes. This was the year before last. Shot creating actions, 5.84 per 90, which was the top 1% on FBref. And then we've got assists per 90, which was 5th in Portugal. Dribble success was 1st in Portugal with 68%. That's at 4.5 dribbles per 90. 68% dribble success rate, by the way, is very, very good. And it was 4th in the top 5 leagues in Europe. So again, we're talking about a player who's performing at an extremely high level. And then we've got carries per 90, top 8%. Total carry distance, top 3%. Progressive carry distance, top 2. Progressive carries, top 1. Carries into the final third, top 4%. Carries into the penalty area, top 7. And progressive passes received. So is he in a high area when received the passes, top 11% in Europe? And I did a little comparison with him and Jorginho Rutter, obviously when he was at Leeds. And some of it is, well, we know how good Rutter was and how dominant he was in the Championship. So the stats that stand out here, you can actually see the thing, is passes into the final third per 90. Rutter had 3.1 per game. Zalazar had 7.5 per game, which is ridiculous. But accurate passes, so how successful are they? Rutter had 58. 78% of his passes into the final third. So these are the risky passes are successful. That stood out for me. As well as progressive passes per 90, 7.4. So again, he's a player who can do the pass side, can drive as well. His dribbling numbers and his progressive numbers are a joke. Like I showed before, one of the best in Europe in terms of progression in any way. And I think, again, looking at what we need, he's also got that grit that he's a bit rough, he's a bit rugged at times. He's got that South American grit, that South American mind. You know, he wants to fight for everything. I think he'd be an absolute joy. I think Leeds United fans would absolutely love him. I genuinely do. Play in the 10, can play in the 8. Just a really good ball player. And I think he'd be just what we need for Leeds United. So, yeah, bit of a different one. Bit more numbers. So I apologise if that's not for everyone. But, yeah.
No, it's good. It's good.
Fine.
Exciting. It's exciting, mate. Just seeing there, like, obviously he spent quite a bit of loan, like St. Pauli on loan, Schalke, Braga.
Yeah.
Why do you think he's not made, like, I say, Schalke were relegated, I think, weren't they, when he was there? But it makes you wonder why he's not made that step, Lockie, or do you think he's ready now after Braga?
I think he's improved a lot, yeah. Well, obviously, he had a good season at Schalke, but that was in the lower league, like Tanaka. Obviously went to the Championship. It takes time. Yeah. You know, when you're playing in the second tier in Germany, people are not too sure. But since he's been in Braga, as I showed with the numbers there, he's been performing extremely well and consistently. Yeah. So a player real, and I think he's ready now. I think he's ready. He's what, 24? I think 24 years old now.
Yeah, he's played in Europe as well, obviously, whilst at Braga on it. So yeah, perfect. Great
top
stuff,
player.
mate. Yeah. Back to Andrea, last one for you, brother.
Yeah, exactly. We keep staying in South America, you know, but playing in Europe, you know, of course. My last one is Marlon Gomes. I titled him, you know, Versatile 80. And we're talking about a player that has moved to Europe last season because he was playing at Vasco da Gama in Brazil, you know, and he's moved to Shakhtar Donetsk. We know that Shakhtar still has, you know, a very good eye for Brazilian players. You know, they pick a lot of players that make the next step, you know. Yeah, I remember a lot of them, you know, Luis Adriano back in the day. I think
it is mad that they all go to Russia, don't they? Like the Brazilians tend to. I know in England now we're getting a lot more from South America, but normally the route has always been like Russia and that, and then over, you know,
Ukraine,
Ukraine. Absolutely, you know, it's that has been the route in the last few years, especially, you know, Ukraine and with Shakhtar, Dynamo Kiev, and back in the day, there were and still are a lot of players, you know, playing in like Turkey. Right? Sorry, Joe, I didn't hear you.
It might be like due to work permits and that. I don't know, but there is always
might be.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
No, that might be the case, to be fair, because, you know, you've seen a lot of players recently that, especially in the reports, they specify now that they are waiting, you know, work permits and, you know, international clearance, and they never specified that, you know, in the last few years before, you know, before the surge of South American players like Echeverri, these kind of players, you know, especially with Man City, Perrone, all those kind of players, you know. But yeah, I picked Marlon Gomes, honestly, because it has been just his first season in Europe. You know, he's played 34 games, 4 goals, 4 assists for Shakhtar. I was going to say Schalke. For Shakhtar, you know, 5 feet, 11 inches, you know, 72 kilograms. Again, here, versatile player that can run, can pass. I've read many reports, not many, sorry, not many is not the right word, you know, a few reports that there were Brazilian clubs like in December, big Brazilian clubs like Botafogo, looking to sign him back in Brazil this season because he's very appreciated by clubs in Brazil. But I think it would be a pity that if he leaves Europe after one season, and I don't think, to be fair, that the rhythm of the Ukrainian league, especially in this tough time for them, with the war going on, and the league has lost value because many players, foreign players, don't want to go there because of the current situation. I don't think it suits him, to be fair. I think he needs to move to a different league, and I think in the Premier League he might, or in Ligue 1, or in the Bundesliga, maybe more Ligue 1 and La Liga, to be fair too. Yes, and Premier League will be more suited to his style of football. We're talking about a player that has played 34 games last season, started just 23 and subbed in 11 games, which still remember that we're talking about Shakhtar playing in the Premier League first season, so he needed time to adapt. Missed 3 games due to injury, played 17 games as defensive midfielder and 15 games as center midfielder. One as a attacking midfielder and one as left midfielder. These are the stats for the games they played in the Champions League, in the league phase, now it is called, as it is now called, the league phase. You see pass completion, 86%. And he didn't start all the games. Remember that. He started against Borussia Dortmund, started against Bayern Munich, but the other games he was sub. And against Brest, he started to start the Brestois, yeah. So you see, also clearances, 78%, blocks, of course, interceptions, dribbles tackled, but successful take-ons, touches, progressive passes, not so good in that case. Progressive carries in the Champions League, difficult, but I think he has the potential, to be fair. Like I said, I don't think it suits him that Shakhtar. He has the potential to improve a lot for the player. He is a very technical Brazilian midfielder, has good pace. Against Dortmund, he scored, and we see that in the next slides, because he kept on pressing, The first options are, we see in the Champions League against Atalanta. Atalanta, we know that they are an high-pressing team. Shakhtar is pressed, the ball is here. This player is pressed, I think it might be Stepanenko, probably. He needs to pass the ball to this one. Marlon Gomes is here. He's in a good position because the ball gets to this player. This player just needs to, keep the ball going to Marlon Gomes, and Marlon Gomes can sprint in the middle, and you take out Ederson, Zappacosta, all these players, You take out immediately 3 players, and you just have to face De Vrij and Pasalic here. But you can make the run, or you can pass to give the team more balance to this one, and then you can play 1-2, because you take out this player. You just sprint here, run into this space, pass the ball, you can play a 1-2 here, Positioning for a passing option and a running option. He needs to make the choice here, of course. Here too, attacking phase. He starts in the middle, goes wide, he's dragging this man with him. Then he has the opportunity to get towards the striker. The ball is here, remember. Through on goal, because the midfielder can try a through ball, or a even long ball, to get past the defenders, to in order to get the ball to him. Or he can, try to make a fake, like you say in the NFL, like he's moving here, but he can, drift wide. And they can, of course, scare the situation because he has now taken the tempo out of this player. And as we see in the next slide, actually he decided to go towards the striker, The midfielder gets the ball to him. He just he can pass the ball through, and he does. In this case, he touched the ball, prolonged the ball with a through ball to the striker, was made the run. Of course, from here, you see this player keeps going. You have another one here. You see this player keeps going, pass the ball through, and he keeps going. And in this situation, you don't see it, but he creates a 1-2 situation because this player actually in this action, he gets the ball to the striker. The striker passes the ball back to him. He's made this kind of movement, the 2 versus 1, and unfortunately he misses, But the movement is fine. It's what he needs to do in this situation, So he drifted wide, went back inside, passed the ball, and then kept going, Very well read, in this situation. There we see another one where unfortunately he made a mistake for him, led to a goal. But it shows that he's trying to progress with the ball, goes back to get the ball from here, And in this case, Bayern Munich, they are very well positioned. So he gets the ball, but he has 1, 2, 3, and he has another player here, So he's encircled. He loses the ball by this player here, and then they made the direct pass to this one, and they score a goal here. But you see that he went back to get the ball. He can progress with the ball. What he's trying to do is elude the pressing. But the mistake that he made here is he waited too much to pass the ball either to this player or to this player, more riskier because you have number 2 here, or to this player, But it's good because if you pass the ball there, it's pass, and they can elude the pressing. The problem here is mindfully on philosophy, it is right, what he's trying to do, trying to elude the pressing by carrying the ball. The problem is that he carries the ball too much and doesn't pass it. But conceptually, it is good what he's trying to do, gets back and try to, help the center backs and lead the attack, with the ball. Pass, and then he needs to sprint and attack the spaces, So conceptually, it is good, Then the final 4, we have the position in box to box, like we've seen, opportunities to get forward, but also helping the defensive phase. He is here with the other midfielder, the ball is here with Adeyemi against Dortmund. The 2 midfielders follow back, and they try to stay compact in the middle, of course. They need to watch out these 2 in this case, but of course they track back. They stay very, near each other in this case. And that's something that we've seen too at Leeds in the last few seasons. On the other hand, you have him keeping the shape of the midfield. Here they're keeping the shape on the defensive side. In the attacking side, you have him and the other 2. This one is trying to advance his position, But if they lose the ball, they are balanced here. Because the midfielders have follow up the ball. So they have kept going, They have, pushed up the balance of the team. In this case too, you have him. That's what I mentioned before, He starts from here. He goes to press the center back, the ball playing defender. He creates problem for him in this case. You can go and watch the goal. The ball gets passed to Kobel in goal. He keeps going with the pressing, and actually he steals the ball. He forces some mistake from Kobel, and they score a goal in this case because of his pressing. But here again, conceptually it is good, because the defender had the ball. With his movement, his run, the defender had the space here. He forces him to turn around, but this other center back is marked by number 2, and the left back is marked by number 3. So he needs to pass the ball back to Kobel. So they force the ball back to the keeper, basically, with this run. Here again, on the other side, you see that Dortmund is passing the ball to the winger. The winger, of course, can make in this case because this player is trying to go in behind the right back in this case. And Marlon Gomes is tracking back, following him in this case. So it is good because he's following the run. Because if he doesn't, they are through on goal, And in this case, it is 1v1 between Marlon Gomes and this player at least. So he has a chance to at least... they have a last stand, because if he doesn't follow up the player can get the ball here and pass the ball directly to Guirassy. So it is clearly that he can go towards the keeper and pass the ball in the middle to this player, and they score, So good tracking back. They play with a different formation, similar in a certain sense to 4-2-3-1, of course. You can play either 6 or either 8, So Azarovic, another good player. You see here that in this case, against Dortmund, he went back a lot, like we've seen in the slides, to help and offer a passing option like the other 8 I mentioned, and then lead him back and try to press positionally, especially, but also, with high pressing, like we've seen in that slide, the defensive build-up from Dortmund. And this was the last one from me, Marlon Gomes, the Brazilian.
Great stuff, mate. Thank you. Again, Andrea Shakhtar-Donetsk will be we're all aware of, and Marlon Gomes, the latest on the number 8's last, but certainly not least. Then we have lost the final pick.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what what we've got cooking, and then I'm going to do a poll, folks, in the chat.
I feel like I might have to convince a few with this one, but it's a player I really like.
Okay, let's do it.
An interesting one.
Nice.
Chukwuemeka, kind of Chukwuemeka. He's had a tough year. I think that's the difference between the rest of our picks, and I think it'd be a loan as well, not a buy. But he's had a tough year. I think one thing that shocked me was I was looking at some online reaction from last year, and Chelsea fans really like the player.
Yeah,
you know, even when he worked, they said, "Why is he not playing? Why is this guy not playing?" And he weren't, and it's been for 2 years now. He's been in and out of the squad, but when he plays, he looks really good. He went to Dortmund in January, which for me, this season, which I think was the wrong move, just because they have a really good midfield, middle of the season, low on confidence. He's not going to play too much football, and as you can tell, he didn't. Obviously, played 10 appearances. I don't think he started many at all, maybe 2 or 3. I think maybe that's when he needed a team to move to in the Premier League, a lower down team potentially. But that didn't happen. But I think we can be that team. Again, around 6 foot, slightly taller, big guy, strong guy. He's played like 40 games in the Premier League. He was good when he played as well. I remember watching him the year before last. Good player, very good player. Just needs to refine himself. And I think kind of in the way that Enciso did this year for Ipswich, where he came in and he took it by storm. He was probably their best player in the running. I feel like this is his time now. He needs to play. He's not played too much recently. He needs to play football. And I think he's Premier League ready. I think he's Premier League made. He's already done it for a little bit, but he was at Chelsea.
He shouldn't have gone Chelsea, mate. He shouldn't have gone Chelsea.
Yeah.
Was linked to AC Milan at one point too.
Yeah.
Not this season, but like last season, yeah.
Isn't that when Todd Bowley came in and just started buying everyone as well?
Loads, everyone, yeah.
Yeah,
they bought in loads. And I felt for him, he made that decision, didn't he? He was at Villa, obviously. But I've always liked him. When watching, I think it was under 18. He was playing with Archie in one of them. It's just he looked levels above that. And he's a really good player. But you'll get into some stuff. And again, this is going to be like trying to convince people. And one thing I really like about him is recognizing attacking space. Again, that is what we need. And a lot of these clips, it looks like he's playing in the 10, but it's the way they play. You know, they played 2 up. There was 2 midfielders behind the 2 strikers at times. So he's not playing there. It's a midfield 3. He just is quite advanced at times. They didn't really play over 10. They played with 3 midfielders. So it might look like that, but a lot of his movement is from deep. And I'm just really impressed with the way he attacks space and the way he uses space, which is probably similar to, quite different to the other guys who were better with the ball. He finds space really well. He's a really smart player. So in this situation anyway, the ball's come a long ball up here. Adeyemi's knocked it down. This guy, I can't remember who that is, but he passed it back to Chukwu. I call him Chukwu just so, yeah, it might be, yeah. I call him Chukwu just so I don't have to keep saying the long name. But what I always like about him is he's always in space. There never seems to be any player around him. He's always good at finding space. And again, looking for a team where in transition, where we'll need available players that are brave on the ball. I think this is where he could be really effective for us. So yeah, there it is. Ball comes down to him. And again, what he does when he gets the ball in high areas, he makes good decisions with the pass. He's very direct, again, similar to Diouf. So he uses space well, but when he gets it, he's very direct with the pass. He makes good decisions. That's what I like. He gives it here, but he kicks at the defender. But he does his role. But my point being, from that long ball, he's always ready. He's always active. He's always waiting to attack. He's not just sitting back. He's up there. Oh, I'm clicking there on screen. And again, look, he's there. He's in the middle. He's in space. He broke from deep. He's asking for the ball. It's a key thing that I noticed from him. And this is against Freiburg as well. So your guy's near somewhere, Andrea.
Yeah, I was looking for him actually.
Yeah, he runs past him.
He's here. Look on the down left. You know.
Yeah, there. Yeah.
Here he is.
But they were against each other for a lot of the game. It was actually a good battle, to be fair. But yeah, I just really like how he's always available. He's always looking for space. Even though he's not played a lot of football, he's always confident. He wants the ball. He doesn't hide. Even in this situation here, he's the one that's going, this is where the space is. I'm going to break into it. I'm asking for the ball. And again, gets the ball. And he does really well here in one touch to turn the man where he's been pressed by 2 players effectively from each side to use his body and just play it out wide. It's from the same clip, gets the ball in there, receives the ball. It was a bad pass, by the way. It's behind him, but he adjusts his body really well and manages to play the ball out wide. Again, in that little space. Another one. They've just won the ball back. And initially, straight away, Chukwu's looking here. Where's the space? Right, it's beyond the midfielder. That's where I'm going to go. That's where I'm going to be effective. That's where I can be available. That's how we can attack. And there he is again, asking for it. He doesn't get it, but he's always there between the defenders. And ask anyone, right? There's nothing worse than an elusive player. You don't know where he is. He's constantly moving. I think with our midfielders, very, very good, but they're not going to make these runs. They're not going to go beyond the midfield very often. Whether that's instruction, again, don't know. But he's the type of player who can definitely give you an output when you need one in a game where you're struggling. He's always looking for that space in every one of these clips. There we go. And this is what I like about him. Again, good decision. So again, he's in that space again, high up, out wide, gets the ball in there and plays the ball out wide to the winger, the fullback. Always in that space. Similar to Aronson, you know, the way Aronson's always good at finding the space, but just struggles with the output after it. Chukwuemeka is very good at finding the space, but his output's very good. His decision-making is very good. And again, it's what I really love. So from this move, this is the same move. He gives the ball out wide to the fullback who runs into the space, but he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop. He attacks. He sees the space beyond the defenders and he thinks, I want to get in there. That's where I'm going to be effective. And he don't get it again. Not his fault, but he makes that run. And this is something I really like. Another situation here. Look where he is. Fairly high. But he's looking, where's that space? No one around him. He's so good at doing it. He's very elusive for a big guy. Very elusive. Very light-footed the way he moves. And he's always in there. Every clip. And again, another one. Where's that space? He's running out here, by the way. Beyond the midfield line. Not everything's not in front. You know, everything. It's easy to pass the ball in front. Who's going to break that line? Who's going to make that move? He went, I'll do it. He drove it into this box beyond the midfield line. This defender's thinking, right, I'm going to have to go now, which creates space for Adeyemi. There you go. Striker's in then with a better pass again, which didn't come off, which is not his fault. But he's always looking to go beyond. He's always looking for space. Another situation here. I don't know where the ball is here. Yeah, the ball's down here at the bottom.
Yeah.
So Freiburg have the ball in this situation. So he's marking Andreas guy here. And he gets a goal from this, by the way. So as you can see, he's in this shape. He's just watching this guy. But they win it back really quickly to Dortmund. And the second they win it back, that's your guy there, mate. There he is. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. He got caught, you know. Osterhage.
Yeah. What his fault? He didn't lose it. But the second they win that ball back, Chukwu's thinking,
back, you know.
Yeah, it weren't his fault. I'll let him off. But the second they win that ball back, Chukwu's thinking, right, I know where I'm going. This space, I'm going to attack it. The ball through to him again. He's terrible. It seems to be a theme in these clips. But he's always attacking. He's always looking for space. Gets the ball edge of the box, has a strike. Ball goes in back at net. He's a player for me that is so capable of many things. He's 21. Chelsea fans liked him. He played well for Chelsea. Very unfortunate. Made a bad decision to go to Dortmund. But I think he's one of them who can come into Leeds United. If I can get a tune out of him, he can be really effective for us. And I just wanted to get his heat maps up as well. You can see how much he uses. You know, he's in that final third. He's always looking to play up high and out wide. And again, look at there he is, 17, very high up. This is from midfield as well. And if you look at his stats, they look terrible because he's not played. Per 90, his stats are really impressive. This is what he's doing on the pitch. You know, shots on target, very high percentiles in the green. But the most important things are these parts. It's the possession. Again, successful dribbles, 63%, which is very good, by the way. Touches in the opposition box, 8.8. Very impressive. Attacks the box, gets into... And this is per 90 as well, and he's not played a lot. So he's getting into good positions. Winning fouls, something we're going to need. Yes, gets dispossessed. It's the type of player he is. It's what he does. Right, it happens. It's fine. Chances created per 90, 2.53. For someone that's not played a lot of football, as you can see, it's like, what, 98%? Very impressive. And even defending, it's not that bad. For someone that is predominantly offensive-minded, 71% tackles one, pretty good. Duels 50, not terrible, it's fine. Aerial duels, pretty decent. And possession one in the final third is what stood out to me. Again, hardly played, but comes in, wins that ball high up. Very impressive, and it's what we need. And it's similar to Diouf in the sense that it's a player that brings something we don't have, but this guy's got Prem experience, and he was good. Chelsea fans will tell you he was good. He was harshly done by, in my opinion, and in their opinion. There's some key strengths. Calmness, very calm on the ball for a player that's that big and so good at what he does. Very calm on the ball, doesn't panic. Powerful drive, athletic, covers a lot of space, as I showed in the clips, and a very high potential. So for me, whether it's a loan, probably. I think for a season, I think it'd be a brilliant get, in my opinion. Yeah.
And we're allowed 3 Premier League loans, I believe. Is that right?
Is it 3 or 2? Is it 3 or 2?
2.
I don't know. Chat though.
It may be 2 then.
I have no idea, honestly.
But yeah, the chat will know. Right, folks, great as well. From I don't know, am I lagging? No, I think I'm all right.
Could I just thingy, Joe? Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to show me my long list. I forgot to do it earlier. Get me a little thing up, just so people can have a look themselves. Yeah. So these are my midfielders here. If it works, let me know if it doesn't. Do I need to do that?
There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, people that watch my videos see this. I do color schemes because my brain works like that. Now, obviously, someone here I know are not realism. Look at the realism thing. If it's red or orange, or you're not getting them. But again, some names I want to talk about. Obviously, Diarra, very good player, as we've all seen. But I just don't think we're going to get him. And I know Jack was mentioning Richard Rice. Rios. Sorry. Yeah, I know. I was thinking of Reese, your guy, Rodrigo Reese. But yeah, very good player. Was going to be my third, but I just wanted to put Chukwuemeka in there just to give it a bit of prem experience. But yeah, a lot of these guys are really good. I know you had him in your list as well, Andrea.
Yeah,
very good player. Just very small. That was my only worry. Very small guy. Cisse is more of a 6, but really like him. Obviously, Andy Diouf, Kamara, very underrated. But yeah, they're just some. If anyone's interested, for anyone that wants to see.
I wish I had the knowledge and the.
Yeah, I put Amir in there.
You put who in there? Amira?
Yes. Just for all time's sake. But yeah.
Well, Diarra might be Amiri 2.0, mightn't he? Might have
probably.
And thought, what's this? Yeah, definitely. Yes, these are just number 8s, James. These are just centre midfielders. I'm not sure which one we'll look at next. What I am going to do is create a poll, folks. I think I'm lagging. I'm sorry about this, folks.
No, you're fine.
No.
Sorry.
1 second. Yeah, I'm definitely lagging. Who would you sign? There's a little lag when I'm typing in here. Yeah, it's reloaded.
Picture looks all right, mate.
Does it? Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's just on the blink. Right, it's working now anyway. Who would you sign? And then I've got a question for you from someone that sent in. So we've got Sadiki. Who's your 2 that you're putting in the poll, Lockie? Is he there?
Has he froze? Is he thinking?
Definitely has, hasn't he?
Let him think.
Let him think.
Did it pause like that? We're all like that.
Yeah. That was brilliant, man. Andrea's going, just let him think.
the thinker, you know.
What are the 2 names, mate, I'm putting in?
I'll go for the buying ones. I won't put the loan in there, so I'll go for Zalazar and Diouf. Yeah, just so it's buys. It's all buys then, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Zala. There we go. Should know this guy's name by now, shouldn't I, man? I should be able to tell you about him. Who would you sign? Right, there's a poll in the chat. It's Sadiki, it's Osterhage, it's Diouf, and it's Zalazar. My pick, personally, just if anyone wants to know, not that they probably do, but mine would have been Diouf. But we do have a question. So while we wait for the people to vote in the poll, here's some names. Andrea, Patrick Berg, Samu Costa, Safaris. Do you know any of these names?
Zafaris, yeah. Zafaris, Christos Zafaris, Slavia Prague. I think Berg is more defensive midfielder. He's always played as a 6 for Bodo Glimt. I think, honestly, it was in the scouting report when we did the midfielders, in the championship. I think it might suffer a lot the physicality of the Premier League, to be fair, but honestly, with the ball, is very good. But he's more of a similar to Ampel in a certain sense, build-up player. He doesn't move a lot. He's the link-up player. In the build-up, Zafar is same. He used to play a lot attacking midfielder. Again, I look at him too, but I think he will be more suited for the number 10 position than the number 8. Because of his body type. I think he will be too much lighter, in the 8. And Samu Costa, I think it might be, in a certain sense. I look at them, but honestly, for me, it might be out of reach, to be fair. I think it might have suitors, in a certain sense. Same as others, I like Morten Frendrup will be perfect as the number 8 for us, but suitors, there's other players like in Spain, for example, Barrenechea, more of a 6, of course, playing at Valencia, known from Villa, Lewis Ferguson too. I think all of them are out of reach, to be fair, but these are the reasons,
This is, I think, with the Diarra stuff, I won't be too worried. Like, he's a very good player, but I think a lot of these searches that me and Andrea did, I think we struggled with striker. I think that's hard to find a striker that would be good. That is hard. But I think with 8s, there were quite a lot that we were kind of figuring out. So we've got a good midfield. I think that's something that comforts me. Tanaka and Ampadu are 2 very good players. We just need to add a little bit to it. And that's what this is, So, there's a lot of good players out there in this position for me.
And Berg, like Rune says, we watched him. I think even Loki watched that game against Lazio and in the Europa League for Bodo Glimt. He tried to go out of Bodo Glimt in the past at Lens, if I remember correctly. Lens was it, Then he decided to go back to Bodo Glimt. You always said with Bodo, like, I really like a lot of the players, Sjovold, like Oge.
Yes, he's good.
Like I can remember the name. Even the keeper is good. Aikin, Berg. A lot of them, however, when they went outside of Bodo Glimt, outside of Knudsen, started to struggle. Bjorkan, Botheim too. So there's always a big question mark. Berg was really good when he came on against Italy. The problem is that I think he's more suited to a slower style of football, and I think he might really suffer. I really like him as a player. Honestly, he was in the scout report last season in the championship. Is that in the Premier League? I think he might suffer another 8 in terms of rhythm. I would like a different 6. Of course he can play in the 8 too, but I would like a more progressive one. In that case, there's also another Norwegian one. Tosby playing at Genoa, but also slow, very physical, very tall, but slow.
Quick question, boys. Next one, what we looking at? What position? Because we need strikers, we need left backs, we need 10s, we need a goalkeeper. Where are we thinking? Are we making it weekly? What's the plan?
We need all around.
What?
We need all around.
Well, we've done midfielder, so we could go defend or attack, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, we could do centre back, striker, 10. I don't mind.
We will be
there. We can do the 9, honestly, or the 10. Maybe the 10. Give us more times about the 9 because there's not many.
That's hard. That is so
Very
hard, by
difficult
the way.
market.
Looking for
Difficult
9s that I
market.
think will be good for us in the Premier League is so difficult.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just centre
it's
back
rough.
too, maybe.
There is a
Because
dearth
PL.
of 9s across football, though, isn't there, at the minute?
Yeah,
Really, being honest. It's not like it used
there
to
is,
be.
mate. No.
You think even when you think about the 90s, yeah, even in the Premier League, you had like amazing 9s at nearly every single side.
Yeah, quality.
Right, Shearer, Cole, York, Ferdinand, all these players just keep going, and then like now, yeah,
It's like some of the like Chris Wood and Jimenez, for example, are 2 of the top striker goal scorers in the Premier League. You wouldn't have thought that. Jeez, it's.
Nah.
I mean, big up to them. They're smashing it, but it's. You wouldn't have thought it, would you? It's hard, man, for a striker. To be honest.
And a lot of that is obviously like youth. I mean, you'll probably know more, Lockie, but a lot of youths coming through wanting to be like inside forwards, like your Salahs and all this sort of stuff. They don't want to be 9 anymore. Everyone, I'm playing up front, whereas people don't want to do that anymore. I don't think.
No, it's it. Yeah, there's a lot. It's football's weird like that. I think strikers are very systemized. Is that the word these days? Yeah. Whereas back then, there just used to be guys that love scoring goals. It's very different now.
Yeah.
So they've got to be physical, or they've got to be something. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It's mad. Right, polls in, folks. Oh, Andrea, you won't like this.
No, you know what I would have chosen. You know, Diouf.
Yeah, but Osterhage, he's got 0%.
0.
Because you know, because he made that slip, you know, in the clip Loki show, you know, like
that
Gerard,
wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault.
Like Gerard, you know, at Anfield.
100%.
I have to say, he was high up in mine as well. To be fair, he was. He's a good player.
Oh, he's got 1%. Someone's voted.
There we go.
Andrea, we have a German in the chat, you know. I voted. It's my vote.
Farkas in chat.
Andrea quickly voted, I think. Next up, Zalazar, then Sadiki, and then Diouf with 48% of the votes. So Diouf takes it home.
Nice.
Now Osterhage's on 5%. So there's a lot of people voting for Osterhage.
Good. He deserves it. What I will say on Diouf, though, really good at what he does, but he has got development. I think in terms of goal contributions, his shot ratings aren't great. But young guy, exactly what we're missing, if that makes sense. So if he can bring that and develop, he'd be an outstanding footballer.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, I hope you've liked the return of the scouting report. My sincere thanks to both Andrea and Lockie for taking free time to, put them together, especially with all the graphics and stuff, just taking it to another level. So it's great to see. So thank you. And I know the people that watch this regularly, start to finish, you are in the chat, you just comment continuously. Big up to you all, because I know you enjoy it, and show some love over at Lockie's channel as well.
Thank you,
Please do that. Vega says Bielsa would nod in approval. I mean, that'd be the goal, wouldn't it? But yeah, folks, will be about tomorrow, no doubt, talking about transfers and stuff. Next one of these, maybe Friday. I'm not too sure. We need to speak off air, but keep an eye out. Andrea's Twitter over here as well. There was a few shouts for where's Andrea's channel in the chat as well. So, yeah. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. I just get to sit here and learn and dialect's the wrong word, but just make little bits in between. These do all the work. So big up to Andrea and Locke. And folks, we shall see you in a bit. Bye-bye. Thanks again, man.